everyone. So before we get started on this broadcast, we just want to let you know that we'll be answering questions at the end of the show. So please submit those to our YouTube channel or to our latest Facebook post. Tell us where you are. Are you tuning in with a classroom? Yeah, and if you're taking any pictures of this broadcast, use the hashtag SnowDesk2018. And there you can see our handles. So let us know where you're coming in from.
Awesome. Great. And we'd love to welcome you to this edition of Snow Desk, the show from the snow in Grand Teton National Park. That was nice.
Yeah, that's good.
My name's Ranger Kristen.
My name is Ranger Millie.
And keep an eye out behind us. This is Ranger Julie. She's our field ranger, and she'll be kind of acting out some things as we're talking about it and doing some silly stuff, so you won't want to miss her.
Yeah, you want to watch out for her. So we're coming to you live from the town of Moose in Grand Teton National Park, and that's located in the northwestern corner of the state of Wyoming. So if you can see this map, we are right under that star. And I wonder if our friends tuning in can take a second to locate where they are and how close or far do you think they are?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. I've heard about people tuning in from Connecticut,
ooh,
Nebraska, just across the Tetons in Idaho.
Oh yeah, of course, California.
Maybe.
Ooh,
nice. We're really excited that you're all joining us. And as you can see, it's pretty wintry out here today. You've actually connected to us as we sit at a desk made out of snow outside. And this desk is made up of about 4 feet of snow.
Yeah.
So we're sitting around surrounded by snow, and it's 25 degrees according to our thermometer here, and a bit breezy. And actually this year it took us a little bit of effort to gather the snow for Snow Desk. We're having a more mild winter than we're used to. So we haven't received quite as much snow as normal, and it's been a little bit more warm than we're used to. So we really had to pile on the snow to have enough to make a desk out of snow.
But we made it happen.
We made it happen. And last year, remember last year it was easy. Last year we had a ton of snow, and so it was no problem at all. So that was Snow Desk last year. But despite the lack of snow, we made it happen this year too.
Yeah. And Grand Teton National Park is one of many special places in the United States that have been set aside to be protected. So special places include not only Grand Teton, but the Grand Canyon, the Statue of Liberty, the Cesar Chavez House.
Yeah.
Wow, we have a lot of different national parks and special places. And these places tell the story of all Americans and are important to people all around the world. And there's so many things to explore and learn and do in these places. And we're excited that you got to tune in today and visit this park.
Yeah. It's as close as you can get.
Oh yeah, for sure.
A virtual visit. The Grand Teton National Park was created to protect some really beautiful mountain scenery, as well as a huge variety of wildlife.
Right.
We have animals from big to small in Grand Teton National Park, and in order to live here, all of these animals have to figure out a way to survive winter.
Oh yeah.
So maybe we can talk through what is winter like for everything that lives here in Grand Teton National Park.
Oh yeah.
The first thing that comes to mind for me is that it's kind of dark.
Oh
the
yeah.
sun, when it's out, is low in the sky, and the days are pretty short.
Yeah. And food is pretty hard to find. I mean, not for us, but for the animals that call this place home, because the average snowfall in the mountains is over 400 inches. That is the size of a 3-story building. That's a lot of snow. I wonder if my friends tuning in can think about how many floors their school or their house and see how many you need extra to get to 3 stories.
Whoa.
That's a lot of snow we get.
That's a lot of snow up there.
Yeah.
And it's definitely always cold. The coldest it has ever been here, our record low temperature, was negative 63 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's pretty cold.
Which is really cold. That's like way colder than the inside of your freezer. We haven't seen any temperatures quite like that recently, but it's still pretty cold.
And winters here can last anywhere between 6 to 8 months long.
Yeah.
That's well over half a year that we have winter in this place.
Whew. I can't even remember what summer is like.
Yeah. I wonder if any of our friends tuning in might want to come move here to Grand Teton National Park after we just told them what winters are like.
but there's a few brave souls.
I hope there's a few brave souls out there. Okay, so now there are some animals that aren't to deal with the winter we just described. So they deal with winters in their own way. There are animals, like bears, who sleep all winter long. They hibernate.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's what Ranger Julie is doing.
Oh, good night,
Yeah,
Ranger
good night,
Julie.
Ranger Julie. But not all animals do that. Some migrate. Ranger Julie, you gotta wake up, dear. You can't be sleeping. Yeah, so they migrate. So they move from season to season. But in this edition of Snow Desk, we're not going to be talking about those animals.
Nope.
We are going to be talking about the animals that stay right here in Grand Teton National Park and tough it out all winter long. So what is life like for them? I like to compare their life in the winter to an Olympic snowshoe race. Fitting, right?
Oh, because the Olympics are
The
happening
Olympics are going on, yeah. This is a different kind of event, though, and only for wild animals.
Okay.
Okay, so during a snowshoe race, the athletes have to deal with the cold and the snow and the wind.
That's true. And not only are they battling the winter elements, but they're competing against other racers.
Though I don't know who Julie's competing against.
I'm not really sure either.
Yeah.
But, you know, animals have to compete with other animals for things like food and water and shelter.
Right. And to win a race, you have to be strong and determined to win. But in this case, survive.
Right. And surviving winter is kind of like winning the gold medal.
Oh, yeah.
Which, good news, everybody.
Julie
Julie won
won.
the gold medal. How exciting. Good job, Julie. I think she deserves a break.
She does deserve a break. Good job, Julie.
For it.
But unlike Ranger Julie, who gets to go home at the end of the day and drink some hot cocoa, like sit on her couch, the animals that call this place home are still battling the elements during the day and the night.
That's true. So I'm starting to wonder, how can anyone or anything possibly live here? How do they do it?
Oh, yeah. They actually have a great idea. Oh, look, there's my idea. Yeah. They actually change. So, snow and cold change the way all things survive around here. The animals of Grand Teton make changes or adaptations. I wonder if my friends tuning in can say the word adaptations.
I think I heard it.
I heard it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely heard it. Yeah. To survive one of the coldest winters there are.
That's true. So animals can change or make these adaptations in 3 different ways. And we have some motions that we like to do to go along with these. We'll be doing them throughout the broadcast. So if you want to play along and do them with us, you're welcome to do that. So animals can change the way they look, they can change where they live, and they can change what they eat.
Nom, nom, nom. So you might be wondering, how can an animal change the way that it looks?
Yeah.
But it's actually easier than you might think. I wonder if any of our friends tuning in put on like a jacket or a sweater to go to school or to just be outside this morning.
I bet a lot of them did.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Ranger Kristen, how many layers are you wearing today?
3?
3?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm also wearing 3 layers. And we just layered up and we changed the way that we look to deal with the cold.
That's true.
And sometimes the best way for an animal to get ready for winter is to actually put on a big warm winter coat. Bison are a great example of this. So to prepare for the long winters, they grow an extra thick, warm winter coat. Look at that bison right there.
It looks so cozy warm.
It does look so cozy warm.
Yeah.
I wish I had a bison pelts.
Yeah, me too.
But it turns out Ranger Julie does have a bison pelts.
What?
Ranger Julie, what are you doing?
I'm borrowing this bison's coat.
Oh, how's it going?
That looks
Well,
nice.
It's really nice and warm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Could you let us borrow it? Because we're pretty cold over here.
No, I need it to stay warm.
Oh.
Maybe
okay.
later.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right.
Well,
Enjoy your bison coat.
Yeah, enjoy that coat. Well, I wish I had a warm winter bison coat.
Me too.
But that's one way an animal can change the way that it looks. Bull moose also change the way that it looks by dropping their big, heavy antlers just before winter. So a pair of moose antlers can weigh up to 50 pounds.
Whoa.
Ranger Julie, how's it going?
I think she's
Whoa,
struggling.
this is so heavy. I can barely keep it on top of my head.
Oh no! Okay, well the good news is that bull moose actually drop their antlers to conserve some energy.
They drop their antlers?
Yeah, they drop their antlers.
So you mean I can just...
Oh
toss
yeah.
this?
Oh yeah, totally. Go for it. There it is. How do you feel now?
Oh, light as a feather.
There it is.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's another change. Well, I'm thinking of one more animal that changes the way that it looks for this winter. So some animals actually change their color of their fur for the winter. Because, you might not believe this, but it does not always look like this in Grand Teton. We do have summer every once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
And here's a picture of what snow dust looks like in the summer.
Oh, that's nice.
It looks so nice and warm. Yeah. So we have dirt and grass and, you know, not all this white snow. So animals rely on camouflage, change the color of their fur to blend in during the season. And an animal that does this really well is a weasel. And so here are some weasel pelts. And just to clarify, we have these weasel pelts so we can teach students all around the country and the world about the animals that live here, but we did not kill them.
No.
These animals died naturally.
Right.
Yeah, and now they help us teach. Yeah, so friends tuning in, I wonder if you could tell me which weasel would be better suited for the winter. So which weasel is better camouflaged for the winter? The white one or the brown one? Hey Ranger Kristen, which one do you think?
Well, I guess it would make sense that the white one would want to camouflage with the snow in the winter, right?
Right, yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
the white one is better suited to be camouflaged in the winter.
I
Okay,
see.
so now we've learned about how some animals change how they look to survive. Maybe you can all think to yourself in your head, would you rather be a moose that drops its antlers, a bison that puts on a warm winter coat, or a weasel that camouflages? Oh yeah, I wonder.
do
Ranger
you think?
Kristen, what would you rather be?
I think I really like the idea of a nice warm winter coat like a bison.
Yeah, so you're gonna be a bison?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with weasel to just camouflage in.
Nice. That's pretty cool. Well, we've talked about some pretty cool ways that animals can change the way they look. But we also have some animals that change in a different way.
Oh yeah.
Maybe some of you out there have had to move at some point in your life. You've had to move to a different house, a different neighborhood, a different state,
Oh yeah, for sure.
different country. I don't know. We've moved too. We're not originally from Wyoming,
No.
so we moved here. And moving can be kind of hard. You have to pack up all your stuff.
Oh, so many
You have to
things.
get used to a new place,
Oh yeah.
right? Well, every winter, some of the animals here change where they live too because their neighborhood just got really cold and snowy. And
Right.
so for those animals, it's all about location, location, location.
Did you hear that? Vacation, vacation, vacation. Here we go. Hawaii, right,
friends.
Julie?
Oh yeah, look, I already got my
Okay, I
palm
can
Yeah, I
see
got
where
my-
you're going with this. I love this idea of going someplace tropical.
Right.
But remember at the beginning we talked about we're not talking about the animals that migrate. So we're not going to go someplace tropical. We have to stay right here, and we're talking about the animals that do that too. So I'm thinking of animals that change where they live in a different way. I know, I'm sorry. They change where they live in a different way by living either on top of the snow
Oh,
or
I get it.
underneath the snow.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So some animals might live on top of the snow.
Like Ranger Julie, she's an expert at this activity.
Yeah, of course. She lives on top of the snow.
Yeah.
Or some animals might live underneath the snow.
Which Ranger Julie could not.
No, of course she could not. Wait, where did she go?
Does anyone out there know where Ranger Julie went? Because we can't find her.
I mean, she couldn't live underneath the
She's
snow.
way too big to live underneath the snow.
Yeah, that's not possible.
Let us know if you can see Ranger Julie.
I don't know. That's really
Strange.
confusing. Well, maybe you there in the classrooms could think to yourself about why an animal would want to live underneath the snow.
Ooh,
Do you have an idea?
I have an idea.
Okay.
Maybe because it's warmer underneath the snow?
You're so right, Millie. It's kind of like a blanket.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So it keeps them
That's pretty
insulated.
cool.
Absolutely. I was thinking about the fact that they're usually small animals that want to stay safe from predators, so they're
yeah.
kind of hiding
Yeah.
under there.
I have one more.
Oh, yeah?
You could probably find food down there,
Oh.
right? Because it's
Yeah.
above ground, but underneath the snow. So I
Right.
bet there's like some dry stuff down there.
Yeah,
Could eat. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, that makes sense. So there's some reasons that some animals might want to do this. So they're active all winter long, but living kind of above the ground and underneath the snow. And there's one animal that I love to talk about that's really good at this. This is really funny. It's called the pocket gopher.
The pocket gopher?
The pocket gopher.
That's a weird thing.
So
I found Julie.
Oh, there she is. Oh, look, she's tunneling through the snow like a pocket gopher. Now I get it. So pocket gophers live underneath the snow all winter long, and they're constantly building tunnels underneath the snow. And you might even imagine that maybe all that tunneling kind of keeps them warm.
Oh, yeah.
If you out there in the classrooms want to do this along with us, we're going to do what we call the pocket gopher shuffle. So it's where you stay seated and try to kind of dig in place or run in place. All right, pocket gopher shuffle. Nice.
Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
Oh, I actually feel a lot
I
warmer.
do
Do you
feel.
feel warmer?
I do feel a little bit
Julie,
warmer.
how do you feel?
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
Okay, but wait, Ranger Kristen, not all animals are small enough to live underneath the snow. What about the
True.
animals that are like too large? What about
That's
those animals?
very true. There are some animals that are too big. And so they, of course, have to live on top of the snow.
Oh, okay.
And that's going to come with its own challenges because sometimes the snow can be as deep as they are tall.
Whoa, that's
Yeah.
a lot.
So you're going to have to figure out how to move around on top of all of the snow. And there's one animal that comes to mind that does this especially well.
Oh, tell me.
It's the Canada lynx.
Ooh, and look at that Canada lynx right there.
They are so cool. They have really big feet so they don't fall through the snow.
Yeah.
And you can see it's got a warm coat. Definitely an animal that is made for winter. And in fact, the lynx can change the size of its paws in a way with the seasons.
What?
So if you all want to do this with me, you
Okay.
can. If you hold your hand out in front of you like this,
Hold
squeeze your fingers kind of tightly together like
Oh.
that. That's like the size of a lynx paw in the summer,
Not very big. Okay.
which, yeah, kind of big. But as winter comes, they start to grow fur on their feet and in between their toes.
Whoa.
And as they do that, their toes will spread apart. So spread your fingers wide apart, as wide as they can go. That's like the size of a lynx paw in the winter.
That's a pretty big difference.
Yeah,
isn't
it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So they have these big furry feet. It's kind of almost like they have snowshoes on all 4 feet.
it? Look who has snowshoes on all 4 feet.
Oh.
How's it going, Ranger Julie?
Whoa, this is such a great idea, having 4 snowshoes on. I'm staying on top of the snow like nothing.
Yeah, she's definitely not sinking.
Yeah.
And in fact, people do this too, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We
Yeah.
do this.
I mean, if we wanted to walk around out there, we'd have to put on something like snowshoes
Or skis.
yeah, or a snowboard or something, right? So, so people do this too, right? Because if we didn't, we would have like this problem of getting stuck or sinking into the snow. Oh no, Ranger Julie, are you okay?
I got stuck in the snow.
Ranger Julie, this is why we keep our snowshoes on.
Guess I learned that one the hard way.
Yeah.
Okay,
go-
good
put
luck,
'em
Ranger
back
Julie.
on, maybe.
You're doing great.
Oh dear.
Oh, Ranger Julie.
Oh gosh. Okay. So we just learned about a couple animals that change where they live and how they can live underneath or on top of the snow. So you all can think to yourselves, if you were an animal living here in the winter, would you prefer to live on top of the snow? And if so, you can hold out your lynx paw. And if you would choose to live underneath the snow, you can do a little pocket gopher shuffle. And ready, set, go.
Oh, that was good.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
one of each. Way to go.
I like it.
That was good. Thank you, friends, for participating.
Mhm.
Okay, so now we found a way to live with all the snow, but now it's time to get some food. And why not just run to the grocery store, right?
Sure.
That sounds great. But what if you got there and the shelves were empty and bare and there was no food in sight? Ranger Julie, what are you going to do? I'm so sorry.
I don't know. There's no food here and I'm so hungry. I guess I'm gonna have to change the way I eat and look for food elsewhere.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Sorry, Ranger Julie.
Good luck.
So animals do this too. They actually have to change what they eat to survive in the winter. There's a couple of animals that have some changes. Like the moose. The moose has to make a pretty hard change. In the summer, there are all sorts of green, delicious, and nutritious things to eat, like leaves. But fun fact, we don't have any green, nutritious, or delicious leaves growing right now.
Nothing
Because
green.
it's winter. So they have to change what they eat. Let's see if we can tie this back to what our friends like to eat. I wonder, what did you have for breakfast this morning?
I had a great bowl of cereal.
Hey, me too.
Oh,
I bet some friends out there probably had cereal too.
I would imagine.
So I would like all of you to imagine that you're eating your favorite cereal all summer long. You're living your cereal eating life. There it goes. And then winter comes
Yeah?
and you have no more cereal left.
No.
Oh, Ranger Julie, what are you gonna do?
There's no cereal. But I do have this box.
Yeah, but that's not
You can't
very.
eat the
you
box,
can't eat the
that's
box.
cardboard.
Yeah,
Oh,
that,
yeah.
that's
Of course
probably
you're
not
not
good. Oh, she is eating the box.
She is eating the box.
She's eating the box.
It's not that bad, actually.
Yeah.
No.
Good?
Thank you. No, I'm
Full?
good. Okay, so moose don't actually eat cereal or cardboard boxes, but in the winter, because there are no delicious green things to eat, all that's left is dry branches, which are not very delicious and not very nutritious, but that's all they have to eat. So they have to make a pretty hard change in the winter.
Oh, that's rough.
It is rough, but believe it or not, there are some animals like the Wolverine, and we'll show you a picture of a Wolverine that actually loves winter. In the winter, they feast on frozen, dead animals buried under 7 feet of snow.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
isn't
amazing.
that crazy to think about? They can smell and dig up a frozen dead animal under all of that snow because it's actually, all the snow is nature's freezer.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, what's your favorite thing to eat out of the freezer, Ranger Kristen?
Ooh, I sure do like popsicles.
Oh, I like ice cream.
Yeah?
Ranger Julie, what are you doing?
Ha ha!
What?
What are you doing now?
It's a big frozen sheep horn.
Oh no, she's going for it. Oh no. How's it going?
It's not that bad. Do you like them?
No.
No, again, you eat the weirdest things.
I mean, I can see why Wolverines like it.
So yeah, Julie's right. A Wolverine's favorite snack from nature's freezer is frozen dead bighorn sheep.
It's like a bighorn sheep sickle.
Ba-ching-ching. It is. I wonder if someone should make that kind of ice cream flavor.
Ooh,
I
maybe
wonder if
not.
any of our friends would eat it.
I hope not.
Yeah, it might not be good. Okay, but there's some animals that actually plan ahead, so they don't have to make a big change at all. I'm thinking of the pika, a relative of the rabbit that lives high up in the mountains. So if you wanted to see this little fella, you would have to be hiking up in our mountains. And they like to eat flowers and leaves in the summer and in the winter. So it's really nice for them. Hey, pika Ranger Julie. Turns out there's no flowers or leaves that grow in the winter, so what are you gonna eat?
Yeah, definitely no flowers here. But luckily, I thought ahead and I saved some flowers from the summertime in my backpack.
Ooh.
Let's see what we have
smart.
here. Aha!
Oh, you're eating the flowers. How'd they taste?
They taste really good and they smell like I picked them yesterday.
Wow.
I can smell them from here.
That's lovely. How smart to plan ahead.
Yeah.
You're a genius. Well, pikas don't have tiny backpacks.
No.
It would be very cute. But they do plan ahead, and they gather plants and flowers all summer long, and they put them and pile them up in a pika haystack. And we'll show you a picture of a pika haystack. And did you know a pika haystack can actually be as tall as Snowdesk?
Just that tiny little animal
That
can make
tiny
that?
little animal, yeah, can make a haystack as tall as Snowdesk, 4 feet tall. And that way, they eat their same food all winter long, because they're not hibernating. They're awake. They're scurrying around right now.
That's amazing.
They're really awesome animals. Okay, so now we've talked about some animals and how they change what they eat for the winter. So friends tuning in, I would like you to think to in your head, would you rather be a moose that makes a pretty hard change? Would you like to be a pika that doesn't need to make a change? Or would you like to be a Wolverine that makes a pretty easy change? So think to yourself which one you'd rather be, and maybe whisper it to the person next to you at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Pika. Oh! That was good. Great, thanks for participating, friends.
Nice, I love it. Well, today we have talked about some pretty amazing adaptations that some animals make to survive winters in Grand Teton National Park. Just to review, they change how they look, they change where they live, they change what they eat. And although these changes, like seasonal changes or animals making adaptations, they happen here all the time.
Oh yeah, of
It's a
course.
natural part of Grand Teton National Park, right? But we try to protect this place from changing too much because we want these special places to be here forever. So I wonder if anyone out there can imagine some changes that could happen to these animals that would be harmful if this place wasn't protected.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, so it's a good thing that we protect some national parks.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of a big job. And while park rangers like us work hard to protect special places like Grand Teton, sometimes our hard work is just not enough.
I need help.
We need help. And we think it's up to the owners of national parks to help protect them. I wonder if they know who owns national parks.
Oh, yeah, we should ask them.
Can you out there just point to someone who you think owns a national park?
I bet they're doing a lot of pointing towards us.
Maybe.
We're wearing uniforms.
Because we work here.
Yeah.
Maybe they're pointing to each other or to their teacher, which would all be right. But most importantly, I hope all of you are also thinking of pointing your fingers right back to yourself, because national parks belong to you. You're a national park owner. And they belong to your parents and your friends and your teachers. They belong to everyone. They even belong to your kids.
Back it up. I bet a lot of our friends tuning in are kids themselves and are in school and probably like kindergarten, first grade, second grade.
Right?
They don't have kids.
That's true. But here's the thing. It still belongs to their kids. If they ever have kids, the national parks belong to them too, because national parks belong to future generations.
Wow.
Pretty-
That's an amazing thought.
Pretty mind-blowing, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So national parks belong to everyone, which means it's up to all of us to protect them.
Oh, yeah.
So we challenge you and your families and your classes to talk more about national parks. Near you, there's over 400 of them across the country. So no matter where you're tuning in from, there's probably a national park that's not too far away that maybe you can go visit. Maybe you can just take some time to learn about it.
And you know, I bet they all don't look like this. I bet some of them are
true.
historic homes.
Yeah?
Or railways.
Yeah, maybe.
Wow.
Or seashores.
Seashores. Oh man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of national parks.
So many different types of places to learn about. And at many of them, you can become a junior ranger.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
So we just encourage you to go out there and find your park and learn more about them. You've taken some time to tune into Snow Desk today to learn more about Grand Teton, which is super awesome. So get out there and find your park, because in the words of The Lorax by Dr. Seuss, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So we hope that you care a whole awful lot about Grand Teton National Park and other national parks near you. And we thank you so much for tuning into this broadcast of Snow Desk. We're going to take a quick second here to get some information from our tech rangers behind the scenes and find out what kind of questions maybe have come in on our chat. And feel free to keep submitting those for the next few minutes.
Yeah, we would love to answer a lot of questions you might have about this place, the animals that live here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we got?
Also, there's no mountains in the back, which is very sad right now.
Yeah, it's cloudy today.
Oh, I thought someone stole them.
Oh,
Oh, no.
that would be really sad. Oh, it sounds like we have a question about what our favorite animal is.
Oh, that's a good question.
I have one. I'll
Okay,
go
you
first. It's always so hard to choose. This is like a really hard question. But I think if I had to choose, my favorite animal would be the gray wolf, which is something that we didn't talk about in this broadcast of Snow Desk, but they actually are active throughout the winter.
Oh, for sure.
And I like them for a couple different reasons. They have a really cool story about how they were here and then we kind of got rid of them and then we reintroduced them and they kind of have repopulated the area. So I just think that conservation story is really unique to the wolf.
Yeah.
And it's also one of those animals that you just don't get to see all the time because they're so, it is. They're like so secretive. So I get really excited the few times that I have got to see one.
That's pretty good.
What about you?
I'm going to go with the sage grouse.
Ooh.
And I bet a lot of friends out there don't even know what a sage grouse looks like.
Maybe not.
It kind of looks like a wild chicken, which is really funny to think about. And They actually scare me a lot when I'm on the trail because they blend in really well.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden you hear a little rustle, and then they just come out.
Yep. They
But-
fly out from like right under your feet.
Yeah,
You're like,
and
it's a grizzly, and
yeah,
then no,
but it's just
it's
a grouse. It's the size of a chicken, and it's kind of like a wild chicken, and it blends in really well. It actually camouflages really well with its background.
With the sagebrush.
And actually, in the springtime, you can see them mate, which is really cool.
Yeah,
'cause they make some weird sounds.
They do some like dancing
Yeah.
and fluttering and.
Yeah, and they're pretty cool to see too. Just like whether you're out on the trail, you're actually out finding them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that's
go
a
with
good
grouse.
one.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Any other questions that are coming in? Ooh, how did we become park rangers?
Oh, how much time do
Yeah.
we have? No, just kidding.
Not your whole life story, Millie.
Oh, okay, just a little bit.
Fast forward a little.
Okay, fast forward. I actually didn't know I wanted to become a park ranger until I was in college.
Oh.
I have my degree in economics, so
What?
yeah, I did not study anything that you might think of. And I actually visited my first big national park when I was in college. I went to the Great Smoky Mountains near Tennessee.
Ooh.
So if anyone's tuning into that, or around
Near
that,
them.
near that, yeah. That was the first national park, and I met park rangers that loved their job, and I decided I wanted to be just like them.
That is so
here
cool.
I am. How about you? How did
That
you
is
become a
awesome.
national-
Oh
a park
gosh.
ranger? Yeah.
Again, how much time do we have? I did sort of know when I was in school that
Yeah.
maybe I wanted to do something. I knew I liked teaching, I knew I liked animals, and I knew I liked being outside.
Oh yeah.
So I
those are
didn't
good.
know exactly how that was all going to come together. Turns out park ranger was a really
that's-
good combination
that's
of those
genius,
things.
Yeah.
So in college, I got a degree in natural resources and environmental interpretation,
Oh wow. Yeah.
which turned out to be pretty specific to this job, and happened to apply to a whole bunch of internships. And you know what park called me back and asked me if I wanted to come be an intern?
Which one?
Grand Teton National
Oh,
Park.
hey, we're here.
And here we are. That was like, 15 years ago, and I'm still here today.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
a good story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
I wonder what other questions we have out there.
Ooh. Ooh, okay. So it sounds like we have a question. I can take the wolf one.
Okay.
There's one about how many wolves are in Grand Teton National Park. So there's something like 50 or 60 wolves. I think we have 5 or 6 packs that will use Grand Teton National Park as at least part of their territory. Wolves have such huge territories that even Grand Teton National Park sometimes is not quite enough space for them. So not all of them spend all of their time in the park.
Right.
But including all those packs, there's something like 50 or 60. And then, of course, when you get to Yellowstone or some of the other surrounding areas nearby, there's more.
Right. What was the second part of that question?
The second part was, what large animals would you expect to see this time of year, I think?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Actually, this one caught me by surprise. And no, I know these animals are roaming around in the winter, but the number of them. So I would say the largest animal that you could probably see in the winter is a moose.
Oh, yeah.
And we have lots of moose.
Yep.
And the other day, I was driving around in the park, and I saw about 13 of them just gathered
13,
around,
all hanging out together?
all just hanging out together, which is like so crazy to think about. Because I bet when you think about moose, you think about them alone or maybe with one other moose.
Yeah.
But there were 13 of them just out in the field in Grand
Wow.
Teton. So I would say that is probably the biggest animal that you will encounter in the winter. If you go a little further south to the National Elk Refuge, you could you will see thousands of elk, but they're all in the National Elk Refuge, and you can't just walk on that land.
Right.
But in our park, it would be the moose.
There's also some bison down on the elk refuge.
Oh yeah,
Sometimes you see those in the park, but usually
yeah.
they're down with the elk.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Moose are pretty cool.
Ooh, good question. Are there park jobs that teachers can apply for?
A good question.
That's a great question. We actually have lots of teachers that work here in the summer. Nationwide, there is a program called Teacher Ranger Teacher. Some parks participate, some parks don't. So you kind of have to look into that. But that's kind of its own whole process, its
Right.
own program. But that places teachers in the summer in national park related jobs. And then we have some teachers that just come out here and work during the summer. You know, they teach during the school year, and then they come out here and work as a seasonal park ranger and lots of different types of jobs, from doing like vegetation.
That's what I was thinking. A
Yeah.
teacher that teaches, and then all he wants to do is be out with the plants, which is pretty cool.
All summer.
Yeah.
We have some of them come and work in our visitor centers and help teach visitors in the summer because they kind of have that skill set already. So yeah, there's lots of opportunities to find a way to fill your summer off from school with a national park experience.
Absolutely.
And
And
then you-
volunteering.
Oh yeah,
You can always volunteer at national parks near you. Just
absolutely.
go in and ask what volunteer opportunities are available, and I bet there's some pretty cool ones out there.
For sure. Yeah. Well, lowest temperature generally seen in the park during the winter.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about the past couple years that I've lived here, and let
Yep.
me know if you found anything colder.
Okay.
So since I've been here, I've only been here like 4 years and 4 winters, and I've seen -20.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't actually last all too long. It lasts maybe 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and then it warms up just a little bit, but we tend to be around 0 a lot of the winter. This one being different because we've been a little bit warmer,
Mm-hmm.
but usually we stay right around 0, and we have about 2 weeks of -20.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know those days where it's -20. I have seen the -30s
Ooh.
a couple times. That's the coldest I've ever seen, and
Yeah.
some of those days it never gets above 0,
Yeah.
even as the high.
Which is it's just hard, and that's why the summertime feels pretty warm for us, even though it's
Yeah.
just 70s.
Yeah.
For us, it feels pretty warm because we've been living in 0 degrees for a really long time.
Yeah.
Thanks for that question.
Absolutely. What else? Okay. Oh, so it sounds like there's some questions about what the summer is like here,
Oh yeah,
which we just talked about a little bit.
the 3 days of summer we have. I'm just kidding.
It's a little more than 3
Okay,
days,
fine.
maybe 3 weeks. No, the summer is pretty short. I mean, it's not unusual for us to get some snow in early June, and by late August, some snows in the mountains, and by sometime in September, we get a little snow in the valley. So it is pretty short, but it is wonderful. And I mean, our record high temperature was 93 degrees
yeah.
Fahrenheit, I think. So for a lot of you tuning in, you're probably thinking 93 is just a normal summer day. That would be like our hottest day ever. So we have a lot of days where it's sunny, temperatures in the 70s and 80s during the day. And then once the sun sets below the mountains, it cools right off, and it can get down into the 50s or even the 40s at night. But it tends to be pretty sunny and dry with some thunderstorms that come through.
And
Pretty
that's
nice.
when we have the most amount of people that come visit this park.
Yeah.
Because our park is actually closed right now, which is weird
Part
to
of it.
think about. Well, part
Part
of
of it,
yeah.
yeah.
You can't really drive in the middle of our park right now.
Mm-hmm.
But in the summer, that's where most people come and visit because there's so much to do and see here. All the elk and the bison are here, and the grizzly bears, and all the animals that you can think about or think of that live here. And you can kayak, and you can hike, and trail run, and there's like so many things. My brain is overloaded with things.
There's a lot to do here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
That's pretty.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay. Some questions about what distance learning is
Yeah,
all
that's
about.
a good question.
That is a good question. So of course the people that are chosen to go on camera are the coolest.
Of course. No, just
just
kidding.
kidding.
Absolutely not.
That is
We-
not true.
We rotate
We do.
because, as we mentioned, it's pretty cold out here, and sitting out here for 45 minutes can get pretty chilly.
Uh-huh.
And so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 of us right
Yeah.
now.
So we all just kind of switch roles.
Yeah.
Snow Desk specifically, and actually our distance learning program in general started in 2011,
Yeah.
I think. So we've been doing this for quite a few winters now. So a lot of us have spent enough time in this that we can kind of switch in and out of a lot of different roles. But we do these live broadcasts like you're seeing right now, but we also sometimes individually talk to classrooms through programs like Skype or Google Hangout, things like that.
Oh, I think you're getting to see your tech rangers out
Oh,
in the back
nice. That's awesome.
in our setup.
Yeah, and, like obviously there's a lot going on behind the scenes
Yeah.
too. They're reading your questions, they're switching the camera views,
Yeah.
they're making sure our audio sounds good. Because when you're broadcasting from outside, a lot of things can go wrong. So we have our technology inside and people keeping a close eye on how all of that is going. So that's awesome. I'm glad you got to see behind the
Yeah.
scenes.
It takes a few rangers.
Yeah, it takes a few of us, and we do this for about 2.5 weeks, talking to
Right.
people through a lot of different methods all across the country, which is
Right.
super cool.
Yeah, but that's why it's good that we have so many of us, so we can switch in and out.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
nobody has to sit outside for 2.5 weeks of
We'd
20-degree
come back
weather.
and you'd be frozen. Thanks for the question.
Absolutely. Ooh,
What kind of birds
Great.
winter here?
yes.
I'm only laughing because Kristen's a birder.
You
But
want
I-
me to take that one? But you go ahead.
No, I'm gonna go with
Yep.
the one that we've been seeing a lot over the Snake River.
Yes.
The bald eagle.
Yes, bald eagles. There's
Yeah,
lots of bald
there's
eagles.
so many bald eagles here in the winter. They're here in the summer too, but
Yes.
it's easier to see them in the winter. And I don't know if it's
Yep.
because there's more of them or it's just like,
Yeah, from what I understand, I think some bald eagles just stay here year round.
yeah.
Some stay here in the summer and they migrate south like a lot
Oh,
of birds
okay.
do. And then some come from further north to here because we have open water like the Snake
Oh.
River. There's lots of things to scavenge
This
on.
makes sense.
So I think the population does kind of fluctuate throughout
Okay, this is good to know.
the year.
Okay, so bald eagles, that's all I got. you can take it.
Okay. Bald eagles, also golden eagles.
Oh, yeah.
They're another one that's that likes to take advantage of lots of opportunities to scavenge on dead animals in the winter. Chickadees are like one of our small little birds that a lot of the songbirds leave and they migrate, right? But chickadees stay here and tough it out. They're a pretty amazing little bird.
And the mountain chickadee, both chickadees.
Yes, black-capped and mountain chickadees.
just wanted to
Look
make
at
sure.
you go. You're a birder. Let's
Oh,
see.
the golden eye? Sorry, that's not
Yes.
duck.
Yes, we have a lot of different types of waterfowl, including goldeneye and trumpeter swans. Probably one of my favorite winter scenes is a trumpeter swan flying through like a snowy landscape. It's just so beautiful. So a lot of big birds, some tiny birds that kind of tough it out.
That was the extent
Yeah.
of my bird knowledge.
Ravens, of course.
Oh,
So many ravens.
Ravens.
Yeah.
So many ravens. So many ravens.
So that was a great question too. You got to give the bird species some
Yeah, some
love as
Yeah.
well. Well, I think that's.
All the time we have.
Oh wait. Yep. Okay.
Okay.
I think that's all the time that we have for questions, and we'll let some of you get on with your day.
Yay.
But thanks again for tuning in to Snow Desk today.
Hey, and I bet if you have any more questions, we would love to answer them.
Oh sure.
We didn't have enough time in this broadcast, but keep asking us questions and we'll respond to your questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
About anything that you want to know about here in Grand Teton National Park.
Yeah.
So use that hashtag SnowDesk2018.
Yep.
Anyway, continue.
Yep, absolutely. And if there's any teachers out there that teach older grades, we'll be doing this again next Friday, same place, same time,
Right.
and talking about the water resources in
yeah.
Grand Teton National Park and how that's connected to the wildlife and the snow here.
That makes sense.
So keep an eye out. We'll be posting about that. Tune back in next Friday.
Yeah.
But for now, thanks for tuning in for Snow Desk.
Yeah, the
Have a
show
great
from the
day,
snow.
everybody.
Bye, friends.
Bye.